Hi guys, welcome back into today's video from RC Mat. On the last part you saw me installing the front diff to the Losi Lasernut. Today we're going to be doing the centre diff from Vitavon. Again, beautiful upgrade to the original plastic version with oversized bearings. Should make it run better, no flex in the cases, with it being the aluminium version. And just a quick update on yesterday's video, where the front, let's have a look, the front diff was fitted and there was no shock tower holder because I broke the plastic one. Just an update from today, the postman came, so I quickly installed that. Now that's fully complete, the front. I don't know if you can see that in there. Hopefully that'll do the job. So on about today's video, we're doing the front, sorry, the middle diff, which requires taking all the top plate. Well, we might get away with leaving the top plate on and just undoing the screws. We're going to have to take the motor out, undo the screws from underneath. One of them in which I've got a bolt that's snapped. So I don't know how we're going to get that out. We'll cross that bridge when I come to it. So I hope you enjoy this video with today's install. The Vitavon centre diff. So here goes. So I've had a quick look around at what tools I need for this. I only need a 2 today. Let's start by taking all the screws out. Firstly, I'm going to undo the motor, actually, because the motor's coming out. These just pull out. These plugs. These just plugs. And remember, they're all colour coded, so it's easy enough to remember which way they go. Just unplug those like that. They just come out like that. Now this cable that runs down here is just for the lights. That's on the body. So we can leave that connected. We're not going to be, that's not going to be interfered with. Start by taking out these top 4. Now remember, just let me show you this. Remember, with all Vitavon parts, you get new sets of screws all attached to the actual part that you're fitting. So the screws I take out, I'll be putting in my spares box, because I'm going to be using the new ones from the Vitavon. I don't know what the weather's like at the moment where you guys come from, but here in the UK we're having a bit of, well, it's supposed to be summer, but it's more like, it's warm, don't get me wrong, it's warm, but it's so cloudy at the moment. We're in the mid-teens for centigrade and we should be in the 20s by now, and it's not very good. I've got a trip coming up to London at the end of this month. I'm hoping it's going to be nice weather, but you never know. It's the UK, innit? Global warming, whatever you want to call it. Right, so that just pulls up like that. I don't need to undo any other from the top plate. All it needs to do now, I need to undo the ones underneath. So what I'll do is I'll just close this up for now, so we can tip the car on its side so you can have a better look. Right, let's have a look. So if you notice, there, on that one there, I've actually snapped one of the heads off number 2, and the head is actually stuck inside the bolt. Normally I would have to drill that out, but I'm taking the diff case out, and with it being a plastic diff case, I should be able to take those 3 out and then pull it from the other side. But let's have a go, let's see what we can do. We might be able to get it out. So I need to undo this one. Alright, so that's 3 out. Now we've got to get that one out, which will be, if you look at the Vitavon case, it will be that one there. I don't recommend getting these shafts with that wobbly ball bit on the end. They're not very good. They snap off easy. I've lost 2. This is a straight edged one, straight edged X. There's no wobbly bit on the end, and I found they're a lot stronger than the ones with the ball on. Right, let's have a look at this now. So I might have to give it a tug like that. Oops, that's come off. And the diff's actually come out actually. But I need to get that out. That's the rear shaft. The rear shaft's out, don't matter about that, because in the next video I'm going to be taking out the rear diff. Oh, there you go, there's the diff just pulled out. Now the spare gear on these are plastic. I am going to eventually upgrade that to the metal one. I forgot to order it, to be fair. So I am going to be putting that one back in as it is. Feels a bit tight, that. I don't know if it's supposed to be that tight or what. But anyway, let's see if we can get this out. There we go. I'm not putting that plastic one back in. I've snapped the head off. And there's the offending article with the end of the ball in it. We're not going to be using that. I'll get rid of that. We're going to be putting this in. And that will go in there like that. Eventually. Yeah. Remember in the first video I left the shaft out, so I'll make sure I remember to put the shaft back in. Right, what I'm going to do for now is get rid of the cart. Don't need that for now. Let's get rid of it. Just a quick note, mate, people. The front shaft is slightly shorter than the rear shaft. So remember, if you're taking both shafts out, which way goes where, which one goes where. Front shorter, rear longer. Okay. So let's have a look at this Vitavon case. I'm going to have to start by taking all the screws out. Adjust my camera a little bit. Okay. Top plate screws. Take all them out. Should just come out with your fingers. I'm not sure what the minimum focus is on the camera that I'm using. I'm using the DJI Osmo Action camera. It's a brilliant camera. But I've noticed if I'm trying to do some close-up work, it's slightly blurry when I get too far in. So it is a fixed focus camera as well. It's like there's no focus adjustment like you'd be able to get on, I don't know, maybe it's, say, an SLR or even compact camera with the manual focus mode where you can adjust the focus. So I'm trying to gauge how much focus we need. Right, so these are for the bottom plate. Remember, we're going to use thread lock on these as well. So I'll just get rid of these out of the way for now. Okay, I'll be back in a sec when I've undone all this. Okay, so we've got the centre diff stripped down, and wow, what a difference the bearing is on the Vitavon compared to the original. Obviously the centre circle's the same size, but the rest of it, it's a bigger bearing altogether. So hopefully it'll perform better. Just got to take the motor out of there now. Oh, that's not a 2 for the motor. It looks like a 2.5. Yep. That's well thread locked in. There's the motor. Screw number 1, top. Screw number 2. So that's the motor mount on the original. It's one piece really, because the top plastic bit, it just holds the diff into place. And plastic, well, you know how flexible plastic is. Not the best design compared to the Vitavon 2-piece aluminium, 3-piece aluminium set. Okay. So while the motor's out, I'm just going to give it a bit of a wipe. That'll do. Now, which 2 screws was it? Top and bottom. So what I'm going to do is hit my Chinese thread lock. Lock TTLF 243. It's looks like it's possibly a Loctite knockoff. Get the Loctite out. Stick a bit of Loctite on there. Don't need a lot. Try and get it in that top hole there once we get a bit of, yeah, there we go. That's the top one in, and I presume I'm going into the bottom one there, so get a bit of thread lock on there. think it's that one. So I'm not going to tighten it up yet. The thread lock takes a while to go off. Just wanted to get the 2 screws in while I put the diff in itself. And then we can, once that's in, we can mesh it up. We can tighten it up a bit more now. I think, to be fair, this is so much better system than the original. Look at that. You can set the mesh with the casing. A little bit of play in that. Yeah, I'm going to put a spacer on that. I'm going to put a shim on it. There's a little bit of play in there. I'll take that back off. I'm going to put a shim on this side here. If I can find them. A packet of shims here. I think it's probably the same one. There, I think it'll be them shims. Let's just wrestle one of these out of the bag. I've got a little cut in the corner. I just need the one, I think. So I've got one little shim out. Stick it over there. Stick it over there like that. Hold that in. Oh, that smells better. There's no play whatsoever in that. Well, that's holding that back where it's supposed to be now. Okay, so I'll just put that there. Remember, lock tight, guys. Get the 2. You don't need a lot on it. The craftsmanship of the alloy, I think it's 7075 aluminium, is very impressive on the Vitavon parts. It really does look good, and the quality of the build of the parts is amazing. Right, now I can nip these screws up now. Now I put the Loctite on. Don't over tighten them, because the Loctite does do its job. That's enough. Right, now let me just have a look. Brilliant. Okay. Right, let's have a look at the mesh. Give that a tighten up now there where it is. It looks okay there. Let's have Yep, that looks about right there. Yep, that looks about right, that mesh. I don't come too close in with the camera, otherwise I'll lose focus. Yep. Tighten these up quite tight, because obviously it's the motor and there's going to be quite a lot of vibration through there. Yep. Okay. I'll put this cap back on now, which is great because it's so easy to adjust the mesh if you're putting a bigger pinion gear on your motor. With this, it's just a one bolt thing. I'm still going to put a bit of thread lock on that. I probably don't need to do on this part, but I'm going to do anyway. Get my two. I'll do. Well, looks really nice that. Okay, so it's just a matter of putting it back in the vehicle now. I'll just clear my bench, I'll get the car back up on the bench and we'll take it from there. Okay guys, so before I reinstall it back into the vehicle, I'm just going to give it a bit of a test, see if the mesh is alright on the motor. Don't want to have to take it all back out again. Well, I don't think I'd need to, but yeah, that seems alright. So, that's alright, I'm going to put it back in the vehicle now. Just before I put the motor back in, I will be replacing these chassis braces in a future video. Red aluminium ones to match the Vitavon diffs. So stay tuned for that one coming up soon. Okay, now we've got the motor installed into the diff case. We're just going to put it back into the vehicle. Remember the front shaft. Front shorter. Okay, right, so what I'll do is I'll just move that over there. So I can get that into there. Yep, so that's in there. Right, so that's in there. So the front shaft's in. What I'll do is stop it moving, as I'll just put in one of the new top plate bolts. With it going into the aluminium, we need Loctite. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just going to put it in the one of them for now. Just so it doesn't move when I turn the vehicle upside down to put the bottom screws in. Because I want to put them in first, to be fair. Right, so just close this. Open up a bit so I can hold it. Right. So I'm going to get these bolts back in the bottom. Try not to cross thread these like I did with one of the front ones yesterday's video. Okay, right, hang on a minute. Just match these holes up. Just don't tighten them all the way at the moment. Let's get the floor screws in, and we can tighten them. Perfectly aligned. That one in there. I'm going to be getting a skin for the chassis plate, so it looks good really. Don't know what design yet. There's quite a few on the market. Might even make my own with RC mat on. I know a local printer who can probably print that out for me on heavy duty vinyl. Top one's not going in. There we go. Now we've got it. Now I've got all four in, I can tighten them up. Not too much because I don't want to be snapping another driver. Remember, the Loctite does its job. That's those four in. Stand it back up now. That makes such a difference. Okay, this looks really nice. Looks really nice. So I'm just going to tighten these up now as we go along, because that's in place. A little bit of Loctite. You don't have to over tighten the ones on the top plate, because it's, with it going through the first layer of plastic, the more you tighten it, the more chance you have of cracking the plastic. So it's just a case of finding the sweet spot. And remember, the Loctite will do its job. There we go, I'm not even going to over tighten them. The top screws are basically just to hold the top plate on. I don't think it has anything to do with the strength of holding the diff into the chassis, because you've got the 4 on the bottom. But we're going to put them in anyway, not over tightening. That's enough. Right, finish with my Loctite. I can put the cap back on there now. Okay, just a matter of connecting this motor back up now. Orange to orange, yellow to yellow. Blue to blue. Okay, that's in. That's installed now. Front shaft's back in. Give it a bit of a wobble. Yep, so it's freewheeling alright now. Okay, let's have a quick look. So front and rear cases are in now. Taking shape. Anyway guys, thanks for watching this part 2 of the Vitavon install. Catch me in part 3 where I'll be fitting the rear diff. And then we're going to go bashing. Thanks guys, stay tuned.